Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ted Drusas here. Going to do a little short video today. Actually, may not be so short, but it's kind of going to be in three segments. So lately, I've been getting a lot of requests to have a little tutorial regarding ROM hacking. So, what I thought would be easy to do to kind of get your feet wet in this would be to walk through probably the simplest form of ROM hacking, which is just a simple text edit. So I would also say before we get started that if you plan to do any kind of ROM hacking, that you would start with a public release of the game as it was made back when it was released, not something like UMK3 Plus, MK2 Plus, Tournament Edition, Cup, or anything like that. The reason for that is those ROMs all have extensive edits done to them already, and because of that, you might miss a custom routine somewhere or call or custom text that's already been inserted, and it just gets kind of messy when you do that. So what I have in front of me now, and what we're going to look at for a text edit, is I've got the fighter select screens up for MK and MK2, and then I'm about to bring up the select screen for UMK3. So you can see where it says choose your fighter on MK and MK2. And if we bring up UMK3, you'll see where it says select your fighter. Well, that's obviously different, and I'm sure the developers had their reasons for doing that. And of course, UMK3 Plus also says select your fighter. But I decided to choose this for a simple text edit for a couple of reasons. One, it's a text edit and it's easy. Two, select and choose both happen to have 6 letters, so it'll be very easy to overwrite in a couple of these small demonstrations. So ahead of time, if you want to get started with hacking, and I will leave these links in the description, in the video description also. You'll want the latest release from maimdev.org, and then you'll also want 010 Editor from Sweetscape Software, and that is a free 30-day trial with a $50 price at the end of that 30 days. And as someone who's been working on a project for over 2.5 years now, it's probably the best money I've ever spent on a piece of software. Then we're also going to download the TMS assembler from MortalKombatPlus.com. So we'll get into that part later, and I will save you the pain of watching me install the software, because I figure, you know what, you're smart enough to want to ROM hack, you know how to install software. So we start with downloading MAME. So you want to download MAME and install it wherever you see fit. I've got it just installed in a directory on my C drive. So to get started, we want to create a shortcut with MAME64, and so we would just go create shortcut there. I've already created one, so it's MAME64.exe-UMK3 debugger. So there's some parameters that have to be set. I have the cheat parameter set just for no reason. If you want to use cheats while you're debugging, you can do that. If you have newer MAME, it's a cheat.xml, I think, and if it's an older version of MAME, it's cheat.dat. The important ones that we're looking at now is -window and -debug, and then also UMK3 on the end, because that's the ROM that we're going to be debugging. So once that's set up, we do have a couple more things to look at before we actually get into editing the ROMs. So if you do a Google search for midwunit.cpp, Midway Wolf Unit, you'll get a link here for GitHub, which I'll also put that link in the video description. What we're going to do here, what's important here, is we want to see the memory address ranges. All of these different spots right here are the address ranges and the offsets for memory locations. And what we're going to be focusing on is the main CPU, which is here, which is FF800000, all the way to FFFFFFF, or me when I'm streaming and things get kind of crazy. So that's important because we're going to be searching the ROM when we're in the debugger. So that is important to know. And then I will get back to that in a little bit. The next section here, how to extract an XML list. That part is important also. But what we'll go ahead and do is we will go ahead and start up the UMK3 debugger, the MAME debugger with UMK3. We'll get the window sized to what we want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and break it here. So what we are looking for currently is we want to take this information right here because we need to find the string select your fighter. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start by typing in help find. So anytime you need help in the debugger, if you are looking for a list of commands like the find command or breakpoint, watchpoint, you just type in help and the command. So here this is actually almost a perfect example right here. Find 0, 10,000, high score 0. And what that's doing is it's searching the address range in the current CPU for the string high score followed by a 0 byte. What we're going to be looking for does not include a 0 byte, but that's okay. We can just leave that search parameter off. So the reason this part right here is important, it's actually important for two reasons. I'm going to bring up the calculator. And what we're going to do in this calculator is we're going to take FFFFFFF, yep, that's me, minus FF800000. That gives us 7FFFFF, which is going to round up to 800000. So what we can do here with the find command, we're going to start at that address, and our search is going to be in this range, and our search string is going to be select your fighter, and it gives us a find address, which is perfect. The other reason it is important for us to know where the memory that the ROM memory address that we're going to be using, where to start, is because we have to do a conversion from the machine code to the debugger code. So the machine code, obviously, as you can see, is written in assembly. The debugger comes up and it is in hex code. So yeah, it's hex editing here, and it shows you the game code down here. So in order to interpret or translate the game code here up to what we can see and modify in the debugger, there's a formula to follow. So for instance, let's say this FFA6-9C30. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the game address, and then we're going to subtract that by the starting address, which is FF800000, and that's going to give us that number. And then we're going to divide it by 8 in order to get the address in the debugger, which will bring us to 4D386. So that is exactly what we're looking for. Select your fighter. So of course, the other way to do this, if you're trying to translate game code or the hex address back into the game code, if you take your game or your hex editor address times 8 and then add FF800000, you're going to get the original game code address that we just talked about. So the next thing to understand here is that the code here, obviously, unfortunately, we can't, so you can see where I'm going across the code here. Unfortunately, we are not able to go in and directly edit. Not able to go in and edit text. If we try, we're going to get only the A through F, and it gets messy. So we can't actually go in and do that. So let's do a cold restart there. That will give us our 1.2 unmodified back. So we'll subtract, divide by 8, 4386. So as you can see here, these numbers represent the letters over here. Now, one thing that's important to note, 45 is the, hold on just a second, I'm going to bring up, I'm going to try to bring up a kind of a hex conversion chart here. So you can see where the hex value for for E is 45, and for S is 53. So we have 45 and then 53. So those are transposed, and that's because with the game being in Little Endian, the bytes are transposed on a byte by byte basis. So if we were to put in 43 for C and 48 for H, if you look over on the right, all the way over on the right hand side, you'll see they're transposed. So what we do then is we just transpose them one at a time. So it would be H and then C and then OO, that's an easy one, and then E and S. So now we have choose your fighter. And I will revisit that in just a moment to show you the change. So there you go. You have choose your fighter right there. So that is a very easy text edit within the debugger. The other thing I want to show you, so choose is also in other places in the game code, like choose your destiny. So if we were to do a find choose your destiny, you'd see where it would be at FFA8 7570. And then if we bring up another window, we always want to go to the main CPU option when we're searching for stuff in the game code. At least that's on the revision ROMs. See, choose your destiny, 4843 4F 4F 4553. Same thing as it is up here. So you could do it that way, or you could have taken the conversion chart and tapped it out that way. Okay, so we've gotten choose your fighter in there, but of course we close MAME and we open MAME back up, and you can see it's back to select your fighter. So the change we made was only during that session, obviously, so it wasn't permanent. So What we want to do is we want to find the revision ROMs, which we already know what they are, but something that will help us to find that is this command here. So we're going to open up a command prompt, and we're going to go to our main directory. We're going to go MAME64 list XML, umk3.xml, and umk3 for the ROM name. And then if we go back to our base MAME directory, you'll see where we have the umk3 XML file. So we go ahead and open that up. So we'll find ROM names here, Ultimate U54 and U63. So these ROMs are interleaved. You see where it says offset 0 and offset 1. So they're interleaved on a byte by byte basis, and that's important, as I will show you. So what we will need to do first is we'll need to go into the ROMs directory, and we need to open up the UMK3 ROM. I can't tell you where to get the ROM, of course, but if you are into ROM hacking, you've obviously downloaded some before, so you know where to find them. And what we want to do is we want to take U54 and U63, and we'll drag them to this demo folder. And that's going to be important here in a few minutes. So after you've downloaded 010 Editor, again, I'm not going to pain you with the install. When you run it for the first time, though, you'll want to go to Scripts and Script Repository. You want to click on Interleave. You want to go to the Scripts tab. You want to go to interleave.1sc, and you want to click Install. And then you want to go to uninterleave.1sc and click Install. So once you've done that, we'll go back to Scripts, go to Binary, we'll go to Interleave. And we'll have, you can use your Explorer bar here, whatever you want to do, to go to wherever you have taken those two files that you copied out of the UMK3 ROM. So we want to select 54 first, and then 63. And then we want the size of each element to be 1 because it's uninterleaved 1 byte at a time. And then we want to select Edit as Hex. I want to do that on the right file, of course. There we go. And now we see the hex code here. Now we want to save this file, and then we'll just save it as UMK3 demo. And now we have the game code in the hex editor. And we take that. Actually, we don't even have to look at the calculator here. We can actually just do a text search again for, let's do it all caps. Select your fighter. You see it right here. Now, in the hex editor here, it's nice because 1, it's permanent, and 2, you can directly edit. You want to make sure down here at the very bottom right, that you are in overwrite mode. So 2 things. If you're in overwrite mode, you want to make sure not to hit the backspace key to delete anything. You can go back left and right with the arrows, up and down with the arrows. Don't hit delete, don't hit backspace. You'll do bad things. We will just overwrite, select with choose, and this portion of it is literally that simple. So we're going to go to Run Script, and then we're going to go to Uninterleave, and we want to choose U54 first, U63 next, and so we'll have these files here in the demo directory. We'll go back, as we're in our ROMs directory already, we'll select U54 and U63, and we'll simply move them back into the UMK3 directory. So now we'll go back to our debugger shortcut, and we'll also turn the volume down because I think I might be breaking the mic or breaking your speakers when I do this. There we go. All right. So now when we go here and we start the game up, we get Choose Your Fighter by default. So that is the second way that I've shown you for text editing using the hex editor. So you can actually make permanent changes to the revision ROMs. One caveat here, up here in the main debugger, this main window, all you have to do is minimize it. You see now we have a wrong checksum error. Anytime you make changes to these files, you're going to get a checksum error. And that's fine. The game will still play. You obviously still debug. Just wanted to let you know that it is there. And it's nothing to panic over. Okay, so we've done this portion of it. We've made a change here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to undo all of that, because now I'm going to show you how to use the TMS assembler to make another simple text edit. So if we go back to Chrome, you go to MortalKombatPlus.com, the team, and tools used, you will see TMS assembler, and that program is built by the godfather of the TMS hacking and midway hacking, all that stuff, the godfather Abystus himself. And there's a little donate button here that if you end up finding this tool as useful as I have, which have I ever, go ahead and throw him a Red Bull. Don't actually throw a Red Bull at him, just donate him enough to go get one. And I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So again, I'm going to save you the time of the installation. You're smart enough to know how to install that stuff. So here we go again. Right? We have our TMS assembler open, and I'm going to scooch the editor over here a little bit so that we can have both of these views available. Oh, got that not responding error. That's no good. Goodbye. All right, anyway. So what we want to do is we want to make note of this address, which is again 4D386. Now, I showed you how to do this earlier with the calculator because it's good to know the math and it's good to know how all that stuff works. The TMS assembler has a converter on it. All you have to do is type in 4D386, and there's the address. So what we're going to do with the TMS assembler is I'm going to show you how to write a new script. Very simple script, and we'll just call it Choose Your Fighter Text. We don't need the routine. We don't need any of that code. In fact, what we'll call it is we will call it Fighter Select Custom Text. And then we'll just type in, and we'll use quotations, choose your fighter. And that's all you have to do for that. Now, because this is at a certain address, we have to search for this address reference. So because it's picked from here, you'll see there's 3 of them. Select your teams, select your fighter, tournament, combat. So we need to check this address we need to do a search in the hex bytes. So if we search hex bytes, and that's going to bring us, okay, so we're going to blank out here for hex bytes. And remember, since the game is in Little Endian, we have to do everything in reverse. So if we were to do it like that, if we go search for A6FF 9C30, I'm sorry, A6FF 39C, because we're transposing every byte, it's not going to find it. So that's because the way the game reads it is we have to actually take these 2 bytes, enter them first, and then take the second. So if we go 309C A6FF and we hit enter, we're going to find this at 4D070, which if we swap Little Endian bytes by group, we'll see where it's FFA6 9C30. So we need to take this address right here, which is 4D070, and that's the address that is being referenced. So this is game mode 0, which is, this is just stuff that I've learned from the time I've been hacking the game. This is game mode 0, which puts up select your fighter. This is game mode 1, which is select your teams, because it's 2v2. And this is game mode 2, which is tournament combat at the fighter select screen. So we want to take this address right here, and we want to plug it in to our TMS assembler. And then we just want to put the bytes right in there the way they are. So we're going to use the braces, and then we're going to select fighter custom text. And we want to find a different spot than this because that's way down in the code. So let's look here. Just find some free unused space. We find a whole bunch here at 60FC0. So let's go there. FC0, which is FFB07E00. So we're going to place it there, and you see where it dynamically changed this reference address. Another thing that's really nice is if you click here, when you're here, if you look down at the bottom, it will give you the ROM address as well. So let's click up here, and we'll copy the ROM address, and we'll go back, and then we can go here, and when we right-click this, we click Copy Swapped Bytes. That's swapped hex code. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go Control-Shift-V, which, using O10 Editor, is, let me see if I can find it, paste from hex text, which is Control-Shift-V. So it gave us the exact address that we wanted. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to copy all of these bytes. We're going to copy swapped bytes. We're going to go back to 60FC0. And then we will go back and uncheck swap Little Endian bytes. And you'll see where it says choose your fighter. So now we've created a custom text script, or text edit script, that we've moved into the hex editor. So now we'll output it again, 54, 63. And now, again, we'll copy this into the UMK3 ROM. And then we'll go back to our directory and open up the debugger once again. And then we can open up a memory window here. And you can see where our custom choose your fighter text is in the code. And once again, there is choose your fighter. So that is a simple text edit to get you started with ROM hacking in UMK3 or MK2, MK1, any Midway game, or any arcade game for that matter. So we have, close the debugger here, pause that, minimize that, minimize that. So now we have choose your fighter, choose your fighter, choose your fighter. Not a very meaningful edit, but definitely something to get you started. And I want to check one other thing. So let's open the debugger back up. Let's do that find again. Very interesting thing. Rain Winds. Found at FF99 F150. So if we go here, very interesting. Jade, Melina, Scorpion, Rain, Reptile, Ermac. Very interesting. He was in this array of text strings, but he never made it into the game until he was created in UMK3+. So, but that's just an interesting little tidbit about the game ROM. There's all kinds of neat little things in the game ROM that you don't see in 1.2 because they're not referenced. But anyway, that is a simple ROM hack tutorial to hopefully get you started, get you hungry for more knowledge, that if you ever want to do any kind of ROM hacking in an arcade game or any video game for that matter, you have something to start with. So hope you like it. If you liked it, click the like button, subscribe, get the notification bell, all that stuff that big YouTubers tell you to do. And I appreciate you guys' support, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.